Welcome to Cyprus.
Welcome to Cyprus.
Welcome to Cyprus.
Welcome to Cyprus.
Welcome to Cyprus!
Welcome to Cyprus, an island in the Mediterranean, so close to the Middle East, and yet it's an open country. The island proclaims Greek Orthodoxy, and yet we've found that many have lost their faith, and the true meaning of the gospel has also been lost.
This is a country in the eastern Mediterranean. It's directly south of Turkey, directly west of Israel. It is a country that is surrounded by troubled neighbors, but it is a relatively peaceful haven in that. And there are students brilliant students who come from all of these war-stricken surrounding countries to a peaceful place to go to learn.
My name is Olga. I'm from Cyprus. I'm married to Elis. We have 5 kids.
My name is Aristotle, the philosopher. Almost all, except Israel, all countries around are Muslim countries. It's a safe place for somebody to be here and to work to those countries with Muslims. And also it's a very important place. Many of those Muslims come to Cyprus.
In Acts 13, Paul travels to the island of Cyprus, really the first place that the gospel was taken by Paul himself. He traveled from one side of the island in the east, Salamis, all the way to where we stand, in Paphos. Here he converted the proconsul of the island by displaying the power of Christ. Quickly, Christianity spread throughout the entire island of Cyprus, but today that is not the case. Today it's just a husk of the truth. Today it's a broken vessel, and we truly believe that the Lord can do something great here again.
People have their religion, they're Greek Orthodox, but for them it's just culture. People don't know what it is to have personal relationship with God. They just practice their religious practices, but that's all. Sometimes religious people do the same thing as atheists do. It's just culture. They are also afraid, if they leave the orthodoxy, people will fight with them. Oh, you became a heretic, you went to that cult, those heretics. But at the same time, they say, oh, what God? And I met people, they practice religion, but they say, I can't believe that there is a personal God.
A lot of people here are just like spiritually asleep, and they have never thought about death. They've never put any thought into it, and just starting conversations about that, people are finally starting to think about what happens after death and think about what if Jesus Christ was actually man that came to save me.
Okay, about the division, it's what I said before. It's something that has hurt us a lot, and it's a small island and it's separated, and there are many people who have property in the north and it's not theirs anymore, and the Turks are there and they bring people from Turkey to live there. So it has affected us a lot, and unfortunately it connects to the spiritual thing also, because we are the Greek Orthodox and they are the Muslim Turks. I know that most people see it like that, and they might even be suspicious of us because we're evangelicals and not Orthodox.
It's been extremely humbling because the Lord has just shown us that it's in His time frame that He's going to accomplish anything. It has nothing to do with our strength or our ability to share the gospel well.
Universities is a key thing because it has become, in recent years, it's like a center for education. There are so many universities, if you consider how small we are in the population. There are so many universities, colleges, Greek, English speaking. There are so many students coming from Greece to study in Cyprus. So I think starting a ministry in the universities will be a key thing for reaching the island, really.
We've connected with a Greek Evangelical Church of Cyprus, and we've met Christian students who have true faith and know the gospel and are excited about proclaiming it on their campuses. So that was really our first step here. We're able to pour into them. One of the last things we will do here is have a retreat where we invest in students and prepare them to go into their campuses over the next year and proclaim the gospel and invest in Christians and send them out to do the same both on their campus and throughout the world. So that's our vision here in Cyprus, and that's what we want moving forward. So we're going to have a stint team here eventually. That's a student who's recently graduated, and they're committing 1 to 2 years of their life to serve God with Cru in another country. And then hopefully we'll have ICS in the future, international campus staff, and they're committing to 3 to 5 years. And our ultimate goal is to see those longer-term missionaries, along with summer missions that come during the summer for 4 to 6 weeks. We want to see those invest in locals and eventually turn this ministry completely over to the locals so that we aren't sending Americans anymore, so that it's completely local-led. And then they start sending out to this incredibly strategic location and part of the world, into the Middle East and Central Asia and North Africa, places where it's very difficult to go as an American.
Now, Cyprus has 850,000 inhabitants, population. Personally, I don't believe that there are 1,000 born-again Christians, Cypriots, not foreigners. My opinion is that there are much less.
This is a trip where you are trusting God every step of the way, trusting the power of the Holy Spirit and leading the results of God. That's Cru's definition of successful evangelism. And that's exactly what's playing out here in Cyprus, in Nicosia, Larnaca, Limassol, Paphos. Wherever we went on this trip, we were trusting in God every step of the way.
Relationship, you need to spend time with them, let them get to know you, trust you, become friends. And we've seen the best results in that way, through relationships, building relationships with people.
So I hadn't met a Christian for the past 2.5 weeks now, and I was kind of discouraged because a lot of the team had, and I was just really praying to God to really send me a Christian and get to have this experience of being encouraged by someone who is a believer here. And so yesterday we met Clements. He is a missionary from Nigeria, actually, and so we walked up to him and his friend, and we sat down, and he told us that he was a missionary, and we found out that he was actually planning on evangelizing to his friend, but then we did it for him, so that was really cool.
It's not that they become evangelicals. We need to present the relationship with Christ and let God do the work, because if you go openly to try to change them from what they are, they just shut down, you know.
So after a fairly negative experience on the big campus, we came to a smaller one that we'd already visited and kind of tossed it to the side as being too small, not worth our time. But after that experience, God definitely put us back here, and it's where we've had a lot of our growth and success here. What we have had, a lot of it has occurred here. So definitely just being humbled in that and seeing that our plans are not as good as his.
We couldn't go to Asia, for example, to mission field, but God has brought so many people from Asia, for example, here, from Filipinos, from Sri Lanka, from Iran, from Russia, Romanian, Bulgarians, and churches from many other nationalities.
As time passed and I got to see all these Christians, I saw that God has been working so hard in this country, everywhere. For example, there's Henry in European University, where he started a prayer group, which, like, first were only Nigerians, and then Africans came, and then more Cypriots, and then Greeks, and that's growing.
Something good that is happening in our days is that all churches are coming together and they're trying to see the common instead of what separates us, because some might be Pentecostal, charismatic, evangelical, you know, so they try to see what's the common believe and build on that and do things together. And I think God honors that, this unity.
Everybody is so joyful, happy, seeing all Christian leaders, pastors, elders, to come together and to pray and to have fun, to talk. They say a few years ago, we were fighting each other, but now we come together, a week ago we had this prayer meeting here in our home, pastors from different churches together to pray and to have a special time.
And we met these 3 girls that were just super interested in having a conversation with us. Garrett and I both got to share our testimonies, and we ended up sharing the gospel with them, and they asked us good questions and we got to ask them really good questions. And they were all freshmen, and so they were really I don't know what my spiritual beliefs are just yet, so I'm still trying to figure it out. And so we were really able to influence them and hopefully plant a seed there.
Those guys, those youth are students now, because soon they will be politicians, will be fathers, mothers, key persons, in the government. They will be teachers, they will be the leaders of the nation. They will train others, they will teach others. So if we win them for Christ, imagine we have something very special. We will have Christian leaders in every area in the society. So I really believe that it's so crucial to reach these students for Christ.
Can't really do anything else like it. Kind of sounds cliche, but study abroad. We've met some study abroad people here. It's not the same as a summer mission. I feel like I'm having a lot more fun than they are. It's a lot of fun to come here, and it's a lot of satisfaction in your heart and peace in your heart for knowing that every day you go out and you're doing the Lord's work rather than serving your own purposes as if you were to go partying in a different country or anything like that.
I was all in, and I was like, I know for a fact this is what I'm doing this summer, and a lot of what I had planned didn't exactly match up with what I was doing that summer, so I had to arrange my life so that it would fit.
My joy would be to see more locals, but if they don't do that, we praise the Lord, and we want American students to come here and to do this ministry. They will not accept a Cypriot to have another religion, to go to talk to them for God. You are a Cypriot, you change your faith, but if you are American or a European from England, it's okay. You can be different because you are not Cypriot. So if you go to speak to them, they listen. The prejudice, and they listen.
I think God's going to do something special here, and let me tell you why. Because of the rich history that comes with Cyprus and the nation, there's a new generation of students coming up, a new generation of leaders, and people coming to this nation, coming to this country, that I really think God's going to work through them and transform them in so many ways, to have that personal relationship with Him, and is going to do amazing things and possibly send out to other nations as well. We see Cyprus in the future as being a country that can not only come here, but maybe send people to Turkey, Syria, you name it, places we can't go, but they can because they're from there. And for the Cypriots here to be a part of the rich history, but also to be a part of this ever-growing nature where God is going to be using so many students here to grow in so many ways. It's going to be awesome. We hope that in a couple years to have staff here, have stint going on here, and have international staff from Cyprus. And so this is just the beginning, and you can be a part of this.